Happy Friday, everybody, and happy National Coffee Day. I hope you had a great week and hope you have a great coffee today. Today is September 29th, 2023, and this is your Friday planning video. It's been a busy week in the markets, and as we close out Q3, I want to do a bit of housekeeping, but also want to talk about something that I discuss so often in intro meetings when asked about budgeting and cash flow. Let's start with some housekeeping. As I mentioned, we're about to start Q4, and this is a run for the end of the year, so we'll do all we can to be sure we do all we need to by 12/31. Before I get started, please note that I do not offer personal tax advice or legal advice, but I can work with your tax and legal professionals to line up your investment plan with your tax and legal plan. So we all know that our goals don't act on that 12-month calendar. So that's not what I'm referring to here. What I'm talking about is the items that do operate on that schedule. You all know how I love lists, so here's one for you. First, capital gains and losses will need to be planned and recognized by close of business on 12/31. You'll hear me talk about lost harvesting, and that is what it is, and we may offset gains and losses. Next, if you've not done so yet, your employee benefits may be coming up for open enrollment. Many of you, like me, don't need to do anything as the plan will roll over to the next year, but if there are changes to the plan, and you should confirm this, you should review what you need to do, make sure that you are in touch with your company, and make all the necessary choices. This can and should include making sure you've maxed out your retirement plan contributions for the year, check the annual contribution limits. Remember, 2023 was a new one, and make sure if your intent is to max out that your deferrals are set to do that. Another year-end deadline will be charitable gifts. This is something I'll talk more about in the coming weeks, but you'll recall I've spoken about donor-advised funds a lot in the past, and even though we're all over the place in the stock market, I still come across a lot of appreciated stock that we'd love to diversify if not for the capital gains tax hit. So let's talk about this. The only real requirement is to have the intent to give. Please reach out, and we'll determine, along with your tax advisor, what the best course of action to make that happen. Another year-end deadline will be the Roth conversion. This is something that's not right for everyone, but it has been increasingly important. This year, the year that you convert the Roth is when you will recognize the tax event. So that's where 12/31 deadline comes in. Last one for today, then a quick tales from the front line. In most states, just to keep it confusing, 529 college savings plan contributions will be due by the end of the year. At least 6 states will allow prior year contributions, like the IRA, but it is state specific, so check that out if you want to wait until April. Okay, the list. Action items: tax loss harvesting, open enrollment, charitable giving, Roth conversions, education savings. Let's talk about these things. Year end will creep up on us. Let's see what happens. One more, this is actually one that's most important for so many of you. This is the time of year we talk about required minimum distributions, and there are a lot of changes in the past few years. Rebecca, my father, and myself will be in touch to be sure we get this all done by the end of the year. More on that will come in pretty much every video on Friday from here until the end of the year. Okay, for a quick tales from the front line, if you watch these videos, I'm sure you've noticed that a lot of the time the action items are for those in the later stages of financial planning. This one can be, but it's really for those that are just getting started. Budgeting and cash flow is such a hot topic, no matter at what age. With food costs as high as they are, gas price rising, heck, even shipping for online orders are getting more strict. Companies are changing their return policies. What is this world coming to? So one of the very first things that I tell everyone when I have a budgeting and cash flow conversation is to know where your money's going and to watch it. I'm not suggesting you drive yourself crazy, but I just want to list a few conveniences that make caring for that budget harder, even as they are making life easier, at least they seem to. First, and this is everywhere from your investment accounts here to your home energy statements, paperless statements. Now, I'm not saying that this is a problem. We all know how much paper is saved by this. But in the past, everyone I know used to go line by line on their statements: credit card, cell phone, cable, bank. I don't think this is being done as much, and please note it may be more important now than ever with cybercrime. Cybercrime where it is. So paperless is fine. Just consider the idea of checking on the banks and the vendors. Last thing for today: Apple Pay, and this is just an extension of the credit card conversation from a few weeks back. There's nothing that I've seen that makes it easier to spend money than Apple Pay. Phone in hand, click twice, tap. For years, in showing people the danger of credit card use, I've asked them the same question: to name the last time they used their card and for what amount. It used to be a 90% could not do that. I'm happy to say that you, my amazing clients, are more like 80% now, but I am concerned that if I asked that about Apple Pay, the numbers would be even higher for not knowing where and, more importantly, how much. So this is not a turn-off convenience idea. This is just a warning. Please watch where your money goes. If you don't, it may tend to go where you don't want it to go. Okay, so that's all for today. As of right now, there will be at least a short government shutdown. As of now, we'll see what happens. maybe not. But as I've gone over in the Monday market update videos, this should not be such a big deal outside of the short term. But note, if the government shuts down, all that weekly, monthly, and quarterly eco data that the Fed watches to make their decisions, they don't come out anymore. So the first big one's next Friday. Will we get a jobs number or not? Come back Monday for more details about that and what else to expect. Again, happy National Coffee Day. Have a great weekend.